Minecraft is an open-ended sandbox game that, whether you acknowledge it or not, has you continuing a story. The game leaves subtle hints of lore, like structures, that encourage you to interpret and build a narrative, if you want. Dungeons are the oldest structures in the game, and because of its seemingly unartistic and boring design, it's been the subject of many redesigning or overhauling Minecraft structure videos. So when most creators that I've seen go about their redesigns for the dungeon, one way is they would make unique, custom dungeons themed around the mobs, or try to expand the box and create themed dungeons around different mobs that, in my opinion, don't really fit dungeons in that sense. Other times, they'd apply more of a dungeon crawler style. This includes adding more rooms, more mobs, more loot, more challenges, and sometimes a boss gatekeeping the all-rewarding treasure. Yes, their ideas are fun and executed well, but they can seem too grand or modded for a vanilla experience. Until 1.21 was showcased. The trial chambers are pretty much what players wanted from the dungeon, but why did Mojang make a completely new structure instead of overhauling the currently existing one with these features? It appears to me that most of these creators don't try to understand the original structure they're basing their improvements on. They seem to either just go for giving it more challenges without basing lore, or try to imply new dungeon lore with their redesigns, as if the original dungeon doesn't have its own lore to begin with, which is understandable seeing what they have to work with. But there's more to Minecraft structures than just providing challenge, and as an average Minecraft lore enthusiast, I've seen this as an oversight. For my approach to redesigning the dungeons, I would like to develop the structure as is found in-game and build off of it from there. So before I present my new dungeon design, I'll give my interpretations for the original dungeon's lore. First thing, to understand the dungeon's lore, we need to address its main feature and purpose, the spawner. When my friends and I were brainstorming, we came up with a few theories for how the spawner could work and be used, keeping in mind other spawners found in other structures. How the spawner is powered. Looking at the texture, there are skulls on it. This symbol represents that this is a hazard and you should take proper precautions to deal with it. But it could also be referencing what kind of magic powers it. The energy from soul essence. There are videos by other creators that cover this topic in more detail, but quick in-game examples are: soul sand is a common element for magical energy sources, being what netherwort for potion brewing grows on, and the soul speed enchantment for boots pulls this energy from the block and utilizes it to make the player run faster. Skulk spreads when a mob dies on it, consuming what would have been XP. But it doesn't seem to eat experience from other sources. We can guess from this that you could only get soul energy from the result of death. So whatever created the spawners knew how to harvest this type of energy and manifest it into these blocks. First theory, the spawner is triggered telepathically and summons whatever you're thinking of. So while the player is occupied with avoiding monsters, the mob they're worrying about at the moment starts spawning. If that's the case, couldn't the mob type change? If the player's remembering what it spawned last time, it probably wouldn't. Or it could be holding the thoughts of yourself or some former person, so then it may require a different magic or something to clean the spawner for a new thought. Or it just takes time. Heads up, I'm going to be referencing a popular theory about an ancient civilization of builders similar to the player character as the reason for the structures found everywhere in-game. So the former civilization would have had these magical cages put in mine shafts and checkpoints in the caves for miners to summon whatever they needed down there, like food or helpers. Same case for the fortresses and bastions for the nether explorers, and explorers getting ready to go to the end. Second theory, it summons whatever with the remnants of what was put into it. Simply, something died on it or is dead put into it, and then clones would appear. Perhaps this theory also requires a sentient and conscious mind present for it to be activated, but this requires a more physical element to function, as well as letting the skull on the spawner's texture be more obvious to hint how it works. As this theory goes, back then, these spawners would be used for a renewable food source underground, or for farming mobs like blazes for their beneficial drops in potion brewing. The spawners in the strongholds may have been to spawn something to protect the portal from invaders. Heads up again, along with the theory of an ancient race, it also suggests a mass extinction event against them. There's also a theory suggesting it was a zombie apocalypse that caused most of the damage. I'm using it as a reference here as well. Playing more on the name Dungeon, when the supposed zombie apocalypse arose, the former inhabitants built these quick cobblestone structures underground to contain infected people, with chests for their personal items and a spawner to provide a food source. Eventually, when they were far gone, dead and decayed, their undead remains got into the spawners. Third theory, it's powered directly by the energy of any creature's soul it captures, and spawns clones of that species. It would be used in the example of the second theory. And a fourth theory, more like a bonus theory, no matter how the spawner worked and was initially used, all the monster rooms underground could have been experimenting areas. So some ancient builders made these boxes underground to safely test the properties of these magical cages, and may have tried something bad that could have helped cause the zombie apocalypse. There are some complications with these ideas, so let's look at them. In the first theory, couldn't the player or someone else trigger a spawner to summon creepers? Creeper spawners don't appear in-game because they can destroy the spawner, but what I think, if you were in the world with all those zombies and only saw the occasional creeper, wouldn't you be more worried about the consistent threat over a potential threat? In the second and third theory, if the spawner could summon clones of the alive version, why wouldn't it spawn more builders instead of the undead? That infectious disease must have been crazy. Why does the spawner stop spawning mobs when in light? It's an in-game mechanic to help neutralize the spawner and make it easier to build around, but from a lore perspective, evil? About the blaze farming in Theory 2, there is no evidence of potion brewing in the Nether fortresses. Maybe the builders left and took most everything with them, or it's something to add. Why do the bastions have a magma cube spawner in the treasure room? There's magma cream in the loot tables of the bastions, and you use magma cream for potions of fire resistance. Maybe the magma cubes were farmed for magma cream until the explorers left and the piglins converted it into a treasure room. The magmas don't hurt the piglins. If you can find more problems or see a way to fix them, I would enjoy seeing your feedback, so feel free to leave a comment. Now with a new perspective, hopefully showing how the dungeons worked in the potential lore of the game, I'll show my new dungeon design that I believe would work well for a vanilla Minecraft experience. Attack is left click,
Oh, yeah. I've
place is right. Please don't destroy it. Okay.
Well, I'm just gonna look around. Or if you have to put it back.
No, it's okay. You play naturally. Now it's recording. What are you doing?
A couple of dead ends. Why are you doing this? What's wrong with your mouse?
Am I weird?
No, it's just forced us to play like we're dyslexic.
Unforce yourself. Are you gonna say anything about it?
It's a nice dungeon, a lot more loot than usual.
Oh.
It looks great. Like, nice how you can get bottles. You don't usually find those.
Sure.
And the loot pool is great.
There are torches in the inventory.
Oh, yeah. Might not be able to place them. Take care of him real quick.
So what do you think?
Very cool.
Yeah, I'm recording, so could you be more exciting, please?
Oh, okay. Dungeon. Where's the dungeon?
Don't be... There it is.
Oh, here it is. Okay. Oh, furnaces. This should actually be good. Nice. Oh. Oh. There's a spawner. I didn't know it would spawn over here. I thought this were loot spawn. Very cool. And oh. F. And then there's something over here. Oh. This is great. I like the stairs. Yeah. You should put something here.
No, that's just how the thing generated.
Oh, it'd be cool if like you could where they think it's like, oh, go downstairs. But there could be like another area over there.
So you've set up... Wow, you've set up mine shafts all around.
No.
Or at the certain coordinates.
Be careful.
I'm about to die.
Be careful.
There. Ooh. There's a bed. There's a bunker. Or not bunker. Okay. Oh, a kitchen. Uh-oh.
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 What?
Oh no. Oh, village. Speedrun.
Whoa. Okay then. This is interesting. Whoever ruined those cities. Oh, loot immediately.
Actually, I got lazy, so...
Oh no, it's okay. Yeah, it did happen. So it'd be... So if there's any way to hide it better, would there be any way to hide it? Or like, you walk through and you don't really see it. It's hard to
No, I think you should be able to see it.
Yeah,
Found it.
it's a loot room. You get to a loot room, another loot room, and then... What are these rooms? 2 beds. That would be useful if, like, let's say I forgot to bring my bed on a mining expedition. Oh. This is cool. So we can open. Look at that. I give this dungeon room a 10 out of 10 for mob grinding. For being able to mine it out for mob grinding. Give it a 10 out of 10.
Okay, just run in there and get your stuff now.
Okay, ideally we're not gonna die again. Oh. Sorry if I'm trickeria. So wait, am I allowed to use the resources in my inventory?
If you feel like you want to.
Okay. So, what was the main thing about the last dungeon? Like, I saw it had better living accommodations, but...
Oh, it was just glitched together.
Okay. There's the dungeon.
Did you put the arm? Yes, you did. Oh. Oh no. Oh no, please don't. I forgot to make a copy of this world. So if you destroy the dungeon, you destroyed my hard handiwork.
Uh-oh. Pretty base loot. Pretty good loot. Like, it's not diamonds.
Of course not. These structures are common.
Okay. I like the staircase.
Thank you.
More stuff, horse stuff. This is a lot like the not ancient dungeon. I forgot what the dungeons with the end portal is.
The stronghold.
Stronghold, yeah.
It's like a stronghold?
Yeah.
That's not
How the
what I was
staircase is set up.
going
I
for.
mean.
Okay. Well, they technically would have been built by the same.
And you're also
People,
using the
so-
same blocks, so how different can you get?
I didn't mean to use too many of the same blocks. I purposefully went for the damaged ones.
You could use some chiseled of that, because also they might use it.
I made this during 1.20.
Oh, before that happened. Okay. This is still really good.
Oh, one of the bedrooms are already? That's cool. If you weren't actually trying to look around, you wouldn't actually see that. See? You just go doop-a-doo. And one of the... No. A double tower? This is cool.
Double staircase.
So, 3 loot here.
Yeah, this is one of the lazy structures.
Oh no, I like it.
I was
It looks
lazy.
more like it's naturally spawned and a lot less like hand picked. And then another room. Wait, where's the mob spawner?
Oh, that's why it's on the glitch list. Apparently, it didn't spawn with one.
Wait, you made these spawn?
How else did they generate? They didn't even generate it by hand.
Oh. Okay. But this is a really nice dungeon.
Thank you.
Like, I can see how I can make this act like a normal place.
These are all the blocks that I used for redesigning the structure. I just added the mossy and cracked stone bricks because the constant cobblestone texture was hurting my eyes and visual interest. I also made a little tweak to the loot tables. This is the original, and this is what I would suggest for the loot in large storage rooms, and these items for the small storage room. I gave the dungeon extra pieces to make it a procedurally generated structure. These are the storage rooms. The smaller one with rare loot would have 1 chest, and the larger one with common loot would hold 2 chests. The light gray glass in the walls represent where entrances could be, so technically there would be 2 versions of this piece. I just didn't build it because I didn't feel like it. This is a hallway piece to connect more rooms together, and these are stairways. One goes clockwise and one goes counterclockwise. Has 4 doorways, openings or entrances like the hallway. And this is the cell chamber compartment. They could either spawn with bunk beds, furnaces, or a pillar. And the carpet represents where those 3 things would spawn in the room. Could spawn. And then we have the main spawner room with the spawner. The red carpet represents where cobblestone could generate, reaching from 0 blocks to 4 blocks. With the cobblestone placed around, it could look like someone was trying to block it in, maybe, and it could have been too late, or maybe there was a wall, but then it broke down. These are examples of what they could look like put together. The smallest dungeon that could generate? No, actually, I think that wouldn't be true. A dungeon could probably still spawn with just the spawner room, and this could be a non-glitch example of how large the dungeon could be. I would limit the structure to 1 of each piece to keep it relatively small. I was also thinking the compartment cell could sometimes start the structure generation. That leaves the potential for a dungeon to spawn without a spawner room, if there would be glitches. That might be cool. And then down the hall to the right storage. Upstairs to here. This is what the spawner would look like with the cobblestone. And here is the... I didn't fill it. I stayed with the style of the original dungeon, but it doesn't really need to be like that. I have some other examples over there where they don't seem as ugly. It's the same idea I have over there, but in a different font. And an example here. I'll use more bricks for this one. Here. The hall's a bit less cramped. The small storage room has its own lamp because it's very special. Down here, the compartment cell is bigger and nicer. Well, this is the big version. I think it's charming to try and keep the original style, but this is mostly for the idea. And that was my presentation. It may be a bit late with 1.21 around the corner, or on time depending on your opinion. I had this idea for a while, and the new update inspired me to finally actually make this video. It was nice having you here, especially if you made it to the end, and I'll be working on something else Minecraft related if you want to see more of my ideas.